Hello and welcome to Campaign Comrades, your favorite leftist gaming podcast. How are we all doing today? I know I could really use a solid umbrella corporation where I am today. It's raining pretty hard here, folks.
Oh, it's raining here as well.
Gonna rain till like tomorrow morning, and by tomorrow morning I mean Sunday at 2 a.m.
Yeah, let's hope it's still
seventh weekend in a row.
Let's hope it still rains through Monday so that this bit still makes sense when it releases.
I mean, it's a very geolocational bit because people in like the parts of the country who are like in a drought right now are like, water. These people don't know what they're complaining about.
I wonder what our listeners in, where was it? Malaysia? We were like number 8 in society and culture in Malaysia or something. Wonder what the weather patterns are like for them right now.
I wonder.
We just have to cater our
arts grant to
we just have to cater ourselves to that community from now on.
Yeah, start
always be making
Malaysian
hot topic jokes within Malaysian culture.
What is the Malaysian language?
I think it's Chinese.
Is it? Okay. Well,
which Chinese?
We should learn Chinese already, so perfect.
Mandarin or
Cantonese. There is Malay as well.
Okay, I thought
that's an awesome name for a language.
So we're gonna learn Malaysian.
We're off to a good start.
Well,
I do think a lot of them do speak Chinese, though.
You know, as we are on a tangent, I will add that the resident neurodivergent ADD dumbass on the pod just got some more Adderall prescription, getting some quick release to take at like 2 p.m. and get a little bump in my day. Be doing lines of fucking quick release.
Yeah, doing some literal bumps.
Yeah.
Do you have it now? Do you have it now? Are you ready to start zooming on this podcast?
No, not yet. I'm just on my regs. I got to go pick them up tomorrow.
At this rate of uptick, in like 5 years, you'll be taking it every hour.
Give it to me.
You'll just fully upgrade to compound T.
No, just give me straight meth.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Resident Evil movie, but that just makes me remember. Did they ever say what the T virus could actually be used for beyond like a bioweapon? Were they doing something else with it that like can like unlock humanity's potential? Is some bit of that shit going on?
No, it's a weapon. It's a weapon.
I mean,
I vaguely remember them the Red Queen saying something like it had unforeseen but super profitable military applications.
Yeah, if my understanding of the greater movies of this franchise is correct, it also has like super soldier serum capability.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because don't like the nemesis and the tyrants and shit. Yeah, they become like super soldiers.
And
much more intelligent than.
Oh,
she ends up being able to like punch people through walls and shit.
Nice. Man, I gotta say,
like she gets bullet time.
I gotta start off. Mila in her prime, looking nice throughout the entire film.
I was just cracking
Novak
up
Djokovic.
Michelle Rodriguez walked onto the scene.
Yeah, it was like this. So this movie was like
made playing the character she always plays, and it's awesome.
But it was like it was 2000. It was made in like 2000 into 2001. No, it was it came, that's when it came out, but it was like made.
So Letty was a knockoff.
That's what I'm saying. This was like I think before, like this was probably one of her first iterations of her single character. It was like there were like hints of it being a little bit different than.
She turned into a zombie.
Sure.
Is she in the first? The first Fast and Furious is she's in that one. That's 2001.
Yeah, she's
That's
done.
2001 it came out.
She's done. So it was right around the same time. They're right around the same time.
Letty came out first before.
So it was
this character.
It was method acting on both sets for one character.
Yeah.
You know what's really funny to me is a mental exercise I do for myself when I watch movies of this era without actually looking into the production shit first. I'm like, was this movie made before or after 9/11?
Yeah.
What can I glean from it by by making that assessment. And so
It's literally always my cultural marker.
Yeah, this was made just before 9/11.
Are you familiar? I hope you're going where I think you're going.
Well, how the original title for
yes,
there's a string of production shit that I want to just kind of briefly touch on. But at one point, this version of the movie was called like Resident Evil Ground Zero, but they had to change it because of 9/11. So it didn't come out until after 9/11.
They got lucky with that one. They got lucky with that one.
I love 9/11 changes to movies. They're fantastic.
It's so good. It's so good.
See, that one's good because you could see the actual effects in like titles and things like that. But my other cultural marker is the financial crash, like whether a movie was made before or after that. But the 9/11, like, you know, we were talking about Spider-Man in November, plug for that, come listen when it comes out. The original Spider-Man movie had to get rid of the Twin Towers in their trailer.
Yeah, they had to do a 9/11 in their trailer. They had to take down the towers in the tower, re-traumatize us all.
I prefer the Lilo and Stitch redub or redo.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. When instead of a plane,
they took it from being a 737.
Oh right, yeah, right, into a spaceship. That's right.
And instead of going through a city and crashing into buildings in a 737, they moved it to a canyon and like painted all the buildings into just a canyon
and like trees and shit.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. Never forget.
I mean, Stitch obviously would have done 9/11. That's a whole different podcast.
My dude's a menace. Jet fuel can't melt whatever project number he is.
Project 151, 147.
I also like to think that in the Sony studios that they had the one Saudi Bolton, graphic designer or editor or whatever be the guy that takes out the Twin Towers.
Make him atone for for his responsibility, for his people's responsibility. You
know what our responsibility is? To talk about Resident Evil.
So this project went through so many different versions and iterations. It's like something that I continue to find fascinating because it really just screams like this is a project that should have been dropped I'm
pretty sure they just
ago.
wanted to film Mila in like a red dress running through some hallways.
Well, I mean that's what Paul W.S. Anderson wanted to do.
Wearing hospital paper and nothing else.
But I don't think she wasn't cast during like, you know, the initial shit. Like they were doing treatments of this in like 97, back in 97. One screenwriter do like 5 different versions that were all rejected.
Yeah, they even had George Romero do at least one script, which would have loved to see George Romero's take on Resident Evil. That's a disappointment that didn't happen. Would have been a much better movie.
I don't know. With hindsight, I feel like we know it would have been really bad.
Maybe.
They said so. The reasonings for both of those series of cancellations was that basically George Romero's would have required like an NC-17 rating. They said it was really good. It was really good, but it would have been too hardcore.
He was straight up going to put it was going to be a smut film.
Yeah,
like a zombie.
It was going to be
film.
An American hentai film.
Yeah,
and the previous ones, so the ones done by Alan McElroy, who was also working on the Doom movie.
Yeah,
which is good. When I finished watching this movie, I just texted to the guys like, "This is just Doom. This is just.
It really is.
These movies are the exact same plot.
Yeah, except it's got Mila Jovovich in it
instead of Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I mean, if Dwayne was wearing a red dress,
who's hotter? Who's hotter? You know, you tell me.
At that point, Mila, no doubt.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no to watching him fuck.
So that first version, they're basically like, oh, it took too long, and by the time that version would have come out, because that one was like really based off of the first Resident Evil game, like truly a an adaptation of the first game. At that point, the second game was like set to come out, and they're like, "Oh, it'll feel dated if we do
Hey
this."
man, this movie had a couple fixed camera shots that
Oh, yeah.
were reminiscent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paul says like that, he still took a lot of inspiration from largely the cinematography of the original ones. And there are little nods here and there, but mostly in terms of plot points, what could be taken from the final movie come mostly from Resident Evil 2 and 3. But it's like really nitpicking.
They do a whole Nemesis
Yeah.
wink wink.
Yeah,
It's really the Umbrella Corporation. Like that's the tie-in to the games.
There's like in the second game, there's something going on with the underground facility that's gone into lockdown that's doing testing. There's an undercover operative. But like it's largely they're largely separate things, and yeah, so that's why Paul's was able to kind of go through, is that it didn't have a direct corollary between it and any of the games, so it was freed by that kind of time constraint. Didn't really have to be seen as a movie tie-in for a specific game or an adaptation of an older game, which nowadays I don't think people care about.
I would just like to say about George's version, if we have any sickos that are listening that would like to see this smut or read at least the smut version.
Oh yeah, they're available, right? You can read the scripts.
University of Pittsburgh has like an archive of it's a George A. Romero archival collection, and it includes several copies of his Resident Evil script. So it's out there. You could read it. You could
cool.
have a little, hentai fantasy of your
Yeah,
own.
I saw that this morning when I was like doing some quick review, and I totally forgot about it though. But that those early scripts, are available through the University of Pittsburgh. I think you can see the McElroy scripts too.
I don't know if they're at Pittsburgh, but
it says here when I'm looking at it that you can see a first draft of one of his
I see.
are available at the university, which I would assume University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to say about just that general theme of this movie and being kind of not necessarily a direct tie-in to a game is that this movie is ostensibly just a zombie movie. Like this is much closer to being a zombie movie than it is a video game adaptation. It just so happens to exist in a video games world, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It very much seems like in this, I think, is borne out by the fact that this was a different movie that had this kind of stuff tacked onto it. I think more expertly done than some other. I think we had a recent adaptation where we're like, this is not a real. This had nothing to do with the video game and was just slotted in after the fact. I forget what the fuck that was.
Monster Hunter?
Oh, maybe it was Monster Hunter. Maybe
that's what I was thinking.
Last week.
Weird. There's
month's
a connection there.
Yeah. A Mila through line.
And Paul.
But Paul, so it's something like that. After he played Resident Evil, Paul Anderson saw its cinematic potential and wrote a ripoff script titled Undead. But then they just, the Constantine film group that he's worked with for a bunch of these films approached him, and he just turned it into a direct Resident Evil game movie.
We got to do a pod episode just on Paul W.S. Anderson. We got Mortal Kombat.
If we do that, we take away so many different episodes we can do on each of his movies individually.
Well, we could still do that, but we could focus.
Just talk about the man. Just talk about the man.
Yeah, exactly. Talk about the man and his visions.
Paul W.S. Anderson, come on the pod.
It would be a great get.
Because we'll have to do as well. He did like the original Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Which is fucking goated. That one's actually good.
Yeah,
that one is unironically good.
I still think this movie has some unironically good moments.
Without a
would
doubt,
agree.
I enjoy even for a non-horror enjoyer.
The laser grid scene.
Yes.
My favorite.
I was hooting and hollering.
That's a scene I want to talk about because
Same.
it was just a great trap horror scene, like very reminiscent of what came before Saw, which is a Canadian movie called The Cube, or just Cube, I think, which is a very similar premise. They're all trapped in a cube, but there is a laser trap that does something very similar, and I was loving that scene.
I love the bit where it's coming like at their feet, and the one guy's
moves.
like, "Oh, I gotta jump," and it moves up and just completely bisects him
right in his dick.
Yeah.
Well,
awesome.
you watch the step up as it gets harder and harder, and you're just, as a DM, you're like, that's just a higher skill check each time.
Yeah.
And by the time we get to laser grid, it's a DC 30 save. And sorry, you have a dex of +6.
Yeah. And in the kind of dark comedy there of they're about to shut it down, and the final guy just cutting the cubes.
And that last
Cubed.
line that he gives was like totally meant and delivered to be like as a for laughs.
Yeah,
it's really meant to be a ha-ha moment.
I definitely like chuckled a little bit.
I loved seeing the operators just get absolutely fucking owned.
Oh yeah.
There are so many great moments in this movie of like them just being very stupid. It's like when the power shuts off and they're hanging out in the room with all of the pods that are slowly like
turning for. Can you not see them go from stable to unstable? Like, what the hell?
Did you not hear the pipes disconnecting and the?
So let's talk about the plot of the film. We get our first glimpse of the hive, and it just seems like it's I
actually love this opening. I think this opening is like a good mood setter.
Well, the shot of zooming in on the faceless tech guy, which gets a call back later in the film, but like with like the hazmat suit using the booth,
the tongs or whatever,
the booth thing, to the hood, I think is what they call those things in laboratory sciences to manipulate the virus. I think he's doing experiment, but as it like kind of zooms in to
the mirror shot,
it was really cool. I like that. And so you see this guy, extracting.
I love the early
virus.
2000s obsession with
the helical,
helical
design
like
of
everything
of the container. Yeah, it's like, oh, it looks science. It just evokes science.
It's super impractical and very expensive to make, but let's.
Hey, we were mapping the genome at that time. We wanted to show off our helixes.
It's just a lot of early 2000s movies have
Helix
that
mattress,
everywhere.
please sponsor us.
The throwaway shot, the people getting trapped in the office building. I think that whole setup is just like a very good.
Well, and I liked seeing like I like that they focused on these. They spent so long focusing on these characters that are just doomed, right? They just become the extras. They become the
zombies.
They become all the zombies. A little weird. It's because I guess she got her head cut off, so she couldn't be re-zombified. The one who got stuck in the elevator and had her head chopped off. I was a little surprised we didn't get a call back there, because that was they focused on that bit so well.
Another fun kill. That is a good fun kill. It gives you a little fake out and then commits. Very fun.
So before I watched this for the podcast, sitting down, my viewing experience of this had only been the TV version, and basically was always whenever I came into the movie when it was on TV. So 10 minutes in, 20 minutes in, 5 minutes in, like never at the very start. So like that, I was not ready for that, and it definitely pulled a wince out of me.
Yeah, it's like whenever you get into an elevator, that's always like your primal fear.
As someone who's been trapped in an elevator,
Oh God, no, terrifying.
Trapped with 12 other football players and one women's soccer player.
Oh no,
I've only been trapped.
It was a bad
myself.
time.
were anybody the anybody in that situation take on the beta male role of the guy freaking the fuck out? We gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. Just
The
consuming
most
everybody's
alpha guy
oxygen
in there.
The first thing,
No,
the first thing you
the
do
guy
is
who
declare a
pretended
piss
he was
corner.
the most alpha guy in there. That
Yeah,
no one
that's what I
actually
mean.
respected that way. He was fucking freaking out, and we had to put him in the corner.
So yeah, the facility goes on lockdown. Everybody starts dying. They're getting gassed.
Getting
They
drowned,
are
getting gassed.
getting drowned. They're getting zombie dogs sicked on them.
It's a pretty good plan
Zombie
by the
dogs are
Red
cool.
Queen, like zombies can't do anything if they're all, just, fully suspended.
Yeah.
Then
One thing about the zombies that I saw that I liked, and it's definitely a early 2000s thing to do. They weren't CGI; they were practical effects, and they hired professional dancers.
Yeah, most of them were. They used CGI very sparingly on the actual.
Oh, but man, when they used it,
it would be like that. It would be like the bit where like part of the face is caved in or whatever, and it's just like, oh yeah, that guy's super smooth.
or
looking.
the fully morphed T cell.
Yeah, that the creature thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't do that practically. That would have been cool if they did, but that would have been.
I mean, they
tough.
could have done it practically. We've seen many movies historically be able to pull off puppets like that, but
they may have done elements of it practically. I don't remember now, but like towards the end, we're jumping way to the end when it gets killed. I feel like this part of the scene where it's like on fire, where it like catches on fire may have been
practical,
but maybe not. It may have just all been CG. I don't. Yeah, back to the beginning though. We get our main character Mila playing Alice. She awakens with battered and bruised after falling unconscious in the shower.
And
always a fear of mine.
Yeah, always.
This is something I think this movie does much better than the Doom movie, which is it actually has some mystery to it. Like there is it does a good job. I
think it's a much better shot movie than Doom.
Oh yeah, it's better in a lot of ways, but like they are very similar, and so I think how this movie brings the viewer in and opens these questions does a much better job of making you want to actually get answers compared to like the Doom movie where it's just like, yeah, the Marines are going in.
Who is Alice? Why does she have an SMG under lock and key in her underwear drawer?
Yeah.
That's got like this super high-tech panel that unlocks it. Why does the inside of her wedding ring say property of the Umbrella Corporation, which is a hilarious touch. Why they felt that was necessary to mark the wedding.
We will pay for our employees' weddings, but we have to sign a contract.
Mm-hmm. She's got written on that gold ring.
She's got no memory. She is like alone in this fucking huge ass mansion. She does see a photo of her in a wedding dress with this man that she does not recognize.
As a kid, I always just tied this mansion to be the same one that Lara Croft lives in.
all of them live there together.
Yeah, it's like a cross-dimensional mansion that exists on all planes
for lady bosses.
Well, so that one's like it's meant to be like a clear reference to the first game that takes place exclusively in a mansion. That like even like the tiling that they do, the checkered tiling in some of the statuary that they've got going on is
I feel like
direct pulls from first game.
I feel like there was an arcade version of the first Resident Evil game that I can like vividly remember, or at least a game like it at the Southington Theater. There's just a lot of similarities.
All
in
I
my
remember
head
is Time Crisis from the movie theater. That's all I got.
Time Crisis is an amazing light gun game.
That's all I got.
They also had Tekken, but that's.
And then
I just played the big game Hunter.
This was one of the first weird bits for me that like I don't know if it was like just a poor editing job was like, where the fuck does the cop guy just appear out of? He's just there. And
Cops do that.
They do be doing that. They do be doing home invasions.
They're on the Cyberpunk 1.0 patch.
Just spawning in. He wasn't T-posed though, so
1.02, sorry.
But like he just appears.
Yeah, he does kind of just appear. That is unexplained.
I mean, like there's
it's a jump scare.
There's the bit of the mystery of like it's revealed later on that yeah, he's not really a cop and that identity is fake and he's an eco-terrorist basically. This generation of films loves them a good eco-terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's right around the time of like there's environmental protests in like 99 coming up on the 2000s. It fits in with like the political
Al Gore.
Yeah. Al
the
Gore
greatest eco-terrorist of all time.
Yeah. Exactly. Now the people know.
But then soon after that, it's like she's like going outside and like there's these ominous crows or whatever, and it's like he needs to save her from that. That's where he just appears. She had like opened the door and he like pulls her back in, and as if he just like saved her from a gruesome death by the crows.
It's a prelude to the not known sequel, The Happening, where you got to be scared of the wind and the plant jizz.
Oh, the Marky Mark movie.
Yes.
Is that a Shyamalan flick?
Yes.
Shyamalan and Ding Dong. Love that one. There's some great performances in that movie.
I have this weird feeling I remember my like sophomore biology teacher wanting to show us that movie at some point.
My biology teacher only ever showed us Gattaca.
Yeah, we saw Gattaca.
The base.
We saw Gattaca and we saw I Am Legend.
Gattaca. Oh yeah. I forgot about that one.
Gattaca.
Yeah, because you had the crazy
the coffee
screaming?
and cigarette breath.
Why are you screaming,
little gremlin?
Gattaca, have you seen that movie? If you were, I doubt you'd be yelling it.
Gattaca.
Gattaca's our future, and it's awesome.
So they're like, as soon as like he like saves her, heavily air quotes. I don't know what the fuck that was supposed to be. Yeah, it was a jump scare.
It was gaslighting her.
Oh, jump scare.
Gaslight girl boss.
I mean, yeah, she's prime target for gaslighting. She's got no memory. You could tell her up is down. They're soon swarmed by the team of operators, the Umbrella Corp commandos, who just like pin Mila up against a wall and was, report, soldier, report.
I like to scream at my subordinates with violent head trauma.
Yeah. And like ostensibly they know she's been gassed, so they're just doing that for fun.
That's why they've wanted
to do this for a long time.
Yeah.
They do explain that the nerve toxin that was released by the Red Queen as a security measure up in because we learned that this mansion, it's such a weird reasoning. It's like, yeah, we've got a secret entrance to the hive that's protected by this gigantic Wayne Manor. It's
in a very large really one-way subterranean train,
and we only have two operatives undercover who are protecting this gigantic building. It makes sense, believe me. You just have to trust.
Movie magic.
But they do say like, oh yeah, it's hit or miss how long the amnesia factor will work.
Umbrella's profit margins were getting a little thin, and so they had to reduce the security at the mansion. It's a necessary operating cost.
Sometimes you reduce the security on your world-ending bioweapon.
They eliminated redundancies, folks.
Yes, exactly.
Umbrella Corporation was hit with layoffs. They were the victim of layoffs.
They used the Red Queen to map out, and they found an optimal route that people could keep the whole manor safe on 12-hour shifts with a 15-minute break in between their two 12-hour shifts a day.
So the operatives take, they cuff the cop guy who I don't even remember what his character's name was. Is it Matt Addison? Yeah, Matt Addison. That's what it is. Matt. He's been cuffed. Like things are going too fast and furious. They can't they don't dig too deep into his fake ID. So they just cuff him and take him along for the ride. They hop on this secret train underneath the manor that's going to take them into the hive, and they force open a door, and out falls I think his name is Spence, the figure that was photoed or in the photograph that Alice had seen on her nightstand. They're like, this is her husband, but she's just learned is actually her partner in multiple sense of the words. He was the other operative who also got gassed, but for some reason was on the train. That is a point that again seems kind of random at the time, but does actually get a good callback and explanation at the end. So he's like completely got his brain. He's got his gourd turned to mush, where she's starting to get flashes of her past life. She like on seeing him, some memories are triggered that they were hooked. They may not have been married in real life, but they were hooking up. They were getting it down. They were fucking on the job. HR, they definitely did not report that to HR. They need to know.
It's not a sanctioned relationship.
So
you forgot to ask consent of one person. that meme.
Yeah.
Except in this case, instead of Jesus, it's HR.
Yeah.
I like when they forgot to ask Twitter.
You got to, folks, in this day and age. So the commandos explain as much as they can what the fuck's going on with the hive. They're except for the cop, all of them are employees of the Umbrella Corporation. They've been sent to figure out what the fuck is going on with the hive. The Red Queen, the system's AI operator, killed all the staff and put the place into lockdown. So they've
I love the Shyamalamian twist of the Red Queen is actually helping.
She nerve gassed everybody. She fucked up all the employees.
Yeah. Can't let it out.
Things haven't really gone to shit until they get to the Red Queen's chamber.
Yeah, undo all of her measures.
Yeah, they have to reboot her, which turns the power off. And it's before they reboot her that she kills half the squad, right? That's where
with the laser room.
That's where the laser room comes in. So yeah, that's good. You've got the nerd operator who's doing all the computer stuff. He's like turning everything on. Oh, you're good to go. You're clear. And then the rest of the squad goes in and just gets immediately cut in half by laser beams.
All of their blood is on his hands.
Yeah.
He has to go apologize to every spouse and child.
They do a good bit where it's like when the first pass of the laser, one of the operatives gets like half his hand chopped off, and the leader is like, medic. And then the medic is just like the slow-mo of the medic standing there, and then her head just slides off as it got chopped. So that was good. And then it just starts fucking with them and starts moving the beam in unpredictable ways, chopping them into little bits. They just get fucking they just get zorped. And the leader's death is definitely the best. It's like the countdown. And can the nerd turn it all off? Can he code fast enough? Mm-hmm. And it's like it goes from just like a solid beam to this like patchwork cross pattern that there is no escape. And if he just hadn't froze in this last second, the leader, if he had just ran back like 10 more feet to the door, he would have been fine. He would have been fine. But nope, he got like the good shot was like he got sliced through the eye, so like his eye just starts turning to jelly.
Ugh.
That whole shot was cool when he's just like, I mean, all of those deaths when you see the meat sliding
is very funny.
Yeah.
So they eventually, though, are able to reboot the Red Queen, but that undoes all the countermeasures she had employed and unlocks the whole facility. All the zombies get loose and all hell breaks
Are
loose.
we the baddies meme?
So the few remaining team members, because Michelle Rodriguez and one other guy had stayed behind, keeping an eye on the handcuffed cop, and they're the ones hanging out in the room with all the big
unstable pods.
all the unstable pods, and that's where they first get their first encounter with the actual zombies, and where fucking Michelle Rodriguez gets bitten. Right from
and
the
similar
jump.
to Goku's
immediately.
power up and fight with Frieza, the transformation from her getting bit or scratched or whatever happened to her finally full turning is way longer than we've shown pretty much anything else.
Yeah, she's like goes like a full hour and a half before she turns.
It's the power of the strength of her will.
Not the nerd guy, but the nerd character is one of my favorite bits. That's got like his arc is really funny. But the third other guy, he gets swarmed and eaten alive. He gets fucked up.
They like when the guy's waiting for the elevator and it just opens behind him and it's full of more zombies.
Yeah, that's when he gets that's JD, and that's when he gets owned. Because the nerd can't think straight, trying to input the code in, and so they finally just kick him off and like, tell me the code, I'll punch the numbers in, and JD punches the numbers in, has some like kind of quip like, now is that so hard? And the doors open and just gets fucking
just gone. Zombie food.
So the undead staff have been released. They're prowling the halls, picking them off one by one. They're getting infected and deaded all over the place. That's when some of the mysteries are starting to unravel. Alice is recalling more of her memories. She had this meeting with one of the staff members, like this clandestine meeting with one of the staff members who had gotten kind of a part of the focus in that opening shot. And you learn that she's like, the Alice is like getting ready to seemingly betray the Umbrella Corporation. She's going to, that this worker was a whistleblower, that they were going to, take the information and the data and samples of the virus and tell the world what the Umbrella Corporation was working on. You then learn that the cop character Matt isn't really a cop, but was actually an eco-terrorist with his sister, and they were working together. He couldn't get on the inside, but she could, and that she had a contact inside of the company. And when he tells Alice this, that's when she gets the flashback that, oh, she was the contact, but she doesn't tell him quite yet, because shit obviously didn't work. So she wondering, did I betray her? Am I a shitty person? She's having
a double agent.
Yeah, she's having the existential crisis of where her loyalties lie.
Did I kill a whistleblower?
I mean, she'd be the best at her job. Yeah, like that's how her job goes.
They end up back in the control center, the Red Queen's chamber, because that's like the only place that they can kind of lock off. They reboot her. but put a fail-safe in place so that like if she doesn't agree with them, that they will reboot her again, but this time it'll just fry her. There's no way back. So the Red Queen reluctantly agrees to help and starts opening up paths for them.
Folks, AI can help.
They start escaping through the maintenance tunnels. You think that the nerd guy who's gotten bit at this time as well, that he gets separated because he got bit in the leg, so he's just like slowing everybody down. He's the last one on these maintenance pipes as they're walking over the sea of undead beneath them, and you think that he's toast, that the pipe semi collapses, he's separated, he's got one bullet left in his gun. They do a nice little bit where they cut he's like, no, you gotta go, you gotta leave me, as some of the zombies are slowly climbing up after him, and the group leaves, and it like cuts to Mila, and you hear like the single gunshot, and you think because he just before he had put it in his fucking mouth, and so it's like, yeah, he's gonna take the easy way out, but instead no, he used that last bullet on the one zombie that was climbing up, and he's like, you're gonna have to work for your meal, a great line, and crawls away and is not seen from again until the very end of the movie, where that's why it was so good. It's like you had that moment there where it's like, yeah, he decides to fight rather than give in, and you don't see him for a while, you don't know what's happened. He then pops up and has some good moment when they're escaping to like gets like the train moving again, and they find out that there's a cure that was there, as another memory that Alice recalls, that there is also a cure to this, and they're gonna be able to save the ones that were bitten, him and Michelle Rodriguez.
That's family. You got to go back for family.
They're on the train, so like it's like he pops back up. He's got like a good pop in moment where it's like he there's a zombie about to strike one of them, and he like takes him out, and like can basically miss me type of thing. And he's like piloting the train, and then it's like 2 minutes after he has his grand reappearance, he just gets fucking owned.
Yeah,
he gets the shot, he gets the cure, and then just gets fucking by the mutant guy.
It was great. I loved that.
So much build up for us, like, yeah, he's gonna have this triumphant return, he's gonna be saved, like he was this close to death, and he's gonna be one of the survivors, hell yeah. And then just nope, there are no happy endings.
Dog thought he was a main character.
Never. Kaplan, RIP. The group is, they're escaping. There's lots of scenes of going up against different zombies and shit, and it's all entertaining but not worth going over in detail. But like, what is worth talking about is like, so Alice's memories are starting to come back in full force, and she like finally fully gets the full picture just at the same time that her partner Spence does too. And here comes the big reveal that he was the guy in the opening sequence who was stealing the virus, who threw a sample and set it free in the air ducts and set the whole plot in motion. He's a bad guy. He's going to take the virus and sell it to the highest bidder. He's the one that betrayed Matt's sister and betrayed Alice as well. But he still is like, we can still do this together. We can still be partners. And fights ensue. He gets bitten and fucks off, gets the cure, but then the Red Queen comes in and is like, yeah, I wasn't totally helping you out all the way. I was also opening up the doors for the big mutant guy, and the mutant comes out and fucking destroys Spence, just rips him apart. Absolutely fucks him up. Okay, so yeah, here it was. It was after they had to. So after the Red Queen makes her like kind of double turn again, and it's like, I'm only gonna let you out if you kill Michelle Rodriguez. She's too far gone. Like I still have this last failsafe of I love how it's called a liquor because it's got a big ass tongue. The the big mutant. It's like, I can I can still sick the mutant on you. And so like Alice has like, this like the tense moment. She's pointing the gun at Michelle Rodriguez, and it's like, ah, but instead just lifts up and shoots the speaker or monitor that the Red Queen is observing them through. So shit's locked down. She's not letting him out. But then Red Queen gets fried by Kaplan, the nerd guy who opens the door for them in his triumphant return moment and sets them back, gets them back on track to. Because it's at this point that Spence has betrayed them, that they know that there is that there's a copy of the virus and the
Antidote.
And the antidote on the train. Because that here's the other callback, is that why was Spence on the train? Is because he's like, I was so close to escaping with this and selling it to North Korea. He's
gonna sell it to America. Come on.
I say, who was the Umbrella Corporation is America. It's like, who? Yeah, in 2000, who was the real threat? Who do you think they were actually going to sell it to? Like, if they didn't mention anybody, but like, I'm just riffing here. Who at that
Olivia.
age, or Venezuela, Venezuela.
Yeah.
Fuck, I lost my train of thought.
He almost got away.
Yes, he's like, he almost got away. Like he was on the train heading back with his prize, but he got hit with the nerve gas there. So it's like he was so close. That's why he had popped up on the train. So
that was Red Queen from downtown. That was a fucking
So then you realize, oh my God, like the virus and the cure were like 2 feet away from them that whole time. They it was so easy. So they make it back to the train though. They get the cure.
I appreciate that they're both very brightly and oppositely colored, so that you can keep them, very distinctly told apart, and not just both colorless.
One's blue, one's green. So they get to the train, but they're attacked by the liquor. It rips the train apart, scratches Matt, the not cop's arm with its talons. Kaplan just gets fucking owned. We think that Rain is Michelle Rodriguez's character. I think we have not actually
named her
character's name
Michelle
once.
Rodriguez the whole time.
So Michelle Rodriguez, we think she's like,
what a great reveal.
Because they do a bit where it's like, no, it's potentially too late. We don't know, but we can make this chance or take this chance. And they think like that she just dies. So Alice is ready with the gun for her to like come back as reanimated, but then she like pops back up. Ain't dead yet. But then
family never dies.
But it's another really funny bit. They're like, oh yeah, she did it. She beat the odds. And then 10 seconds later, she does her little back crack. I'm a zombie now, and just gets fucking domed.
See, I do that every day at work. I stand up and crack my back and crack my knees and stuff, hoping that it'll just send me into a zombified rage.
So yeah, she just gets fucking domed. They kill the liquor in a pretty fun way. She spikes its tongue into the floor, and the train has these retractable doors on the floor to access like the electronics in the third rail, and so it falls down and it just gets set on fire because of the electricity, and it just gets fucking owned that way, which was pretty fun. We haven't mentioned at all, like, this whole thing is happening on a timer too. They realize that like if they don't like escape within An
2 hours. Yeah, it's like 2 hours from at the start.
I thought it was like an hour and a half. So it was like, is this movie running in real time? Like
Yeah. They did
the
the 24. They did 24 before 24.
they do escape. They finally, so the only two survivors though are Alice and Matt. And they walk up the stairs from the train station as the blast doors come down with like the last 10 seconds to spare. They emerge in the mansion. Alice is about to give him the cure just as like his fucking arm starts mutating, but they get jumped by. It's so funny. She like they prove that like, oh yeah, she actually is like a super soldier. She's a highly trained and skilled operative. She does these crazy spinning roundhouse kicks that would make that would put Chuck Norris to shame. Yet she gets fucking overwhelmed by these fucking
scientists,
lab coats. Yeah, these scientists in fucking hazmat suits literally rip the hazmat
we don't see them
suit
under the hazmat suits. They could all be like Mr.
fucking
America.
just
I don't know if we
absolutely yoked.
I can't remember if it's at this part or if it might be a little bit later, but there's a shot where Mila is like there's like zombies coming at her, and she has a great
That's before. That's earlier.
Before?
Can you repeat that just quick? The Zoom froze really quick, so I don't know if that got caught. And
so
if it did, just Matt cut part of it.
There's zombies coming at her, and Mila does the stereotypical like woman action hero scene where she like holds on to some bars, jumps up, grabs with her legs,
and does a neck snap. People complain about that and say that that's like stereotypical shit or sexualizing women's combat, but there are like plenty of combat experts who come out and it's like, like women are biologically smaller and have comparatively weaker upper bodies where their relative strength comes in their lower body. So it is, how
I'm pretty sure we had the same conversation in the Doom
thing. That's just an in general thing. Like your lower body should be stronger. Like take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's like an actual effective combat.
Yeah, because they're lighter, they could pull themselves up to like get up to that height.
Don't ruin my fantasies, all right?
Yeah.
But again, I'm pretty sure we had the same conversation with Doom.
So they get swarmed. The fucking
the Nemesis program.
Yeah, the Umbrella Corporation, just can't be beaten. There's no way.
Undefeated.
The only thing that could defeat them is their own hubris, as we'll see. So they still broke containment, whether intentional or not. Alice wakes up alone in the Raccoon City Hospital.
And this is a great scene
coming out of her. She's wearing that paper, the paper dress. That Mike
no, that's not a dress.
Earlier.
That is just two pieces of paper.
It's pieces of paper
connected on one side with a single string.
It's what the dentist puts over you. It's like the dentist bib, just like two of them, one over her top and one around her waist.
Your shoulders, it's around her side and just on her front and back.
Yeah, it's literally just taped to her. I was being charitable by calling it a dress. She's been like tested. She's got tubes in her fucking brain.
She had the trendy side shave before
the undercut. The undercut. Yeah,
the Skrillex.
Yeah, exactly. So she's like the only one in this hospital. We do see one shadowed, ominous figure that I like took like maybe is that like supposed to be Wesker? Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because he does not make an appearance in this film at all.
But don't worry, he makes many appearances in the movies at large that follow.
Yeah, right. So I was like thinking like, oh, maybe like that's just meant to be an oblique reference to him and to his role, his nefarious role about what's going on. So it's like that there maybe is one other figure who's still around, but everything else is empty. There's no there. She emerges from the hospital. She's managed to find a robe. And Raccoon City has just gone to fucking hell. It's the containment was breached. zombie apocalypse is upon us. It's the end
He
times.
finds a convenient loaded shotgun.
She gets
in
that
a
shotty,
cop
yeah.
car.
And that's just where the movie ends.
It's a great final scene. It's very reminiscent of a movie that came out in the same year, which is 28 Days Later, which opens with Cillian Murphy's character essentially doing the same thing. Wakes up in a hospital. There's no one around. Walks outside to find the apocalypse. It's a fun scene. I like that one a lot. I like that ending.
So has anybody watched any of the other Resident Evil movies in their own time before this?
I've seen a chunk of them.
So where does it go from here? Like, because this does, except for like the reboot, it is like it's considered like a continuous story and universe, right? Because it follows Mila's character of
From what I
Alice.
remember, at one point, I think it was maybe in the fourth movie, there are like lots of Milas. There's like clones of Mila everywhere.
Awesome. Can't have enough.
Again, it's always just like ties back to Wesker. There's other people who play a main character at one point, I think in 2, and then Mila shows up at like the end, and she's like the super badass super soldier who can like redirect rockets mid-flight and shit, and like fucks up a nemesis for them. And what's his face Matt comes back as a nemesis at some point. Like we get that paid off.
Who here has played Resident Evil games?
Not I.
Is that just me?
Probably
Yeah, I believe
just
so.
you.
Yeah, I played Resident Evil 1, 4, and 7.
So I assume you played the remake of Resident Evil, like the original Resident Evil remake.
Yeah, the original was the remake,
which is still pretty old. Old right now. Like that would have just like been like when
10
we were
years now.
younger.
But yeah, I mean the games I've played don't really tie into this movie much at all, besides just the general Umbrella Corporation theme. 4 came out way after this, and the original was before. So
I honestly was confused watching this because in my head, Resident Evil is more like, I don't know, I know it's like got zombies and shit or whatever, but the like sci-fi-ness of it and like being, I don't know, the sterility of the like the facilities that they were in for most of it and things like that, like wasn't what I had in my head of Resident Evil. Is more like the mansions and basement type things.
The mansion is like exclusive to the first one because that one is a true.
And then kind of the 7th.
Yeah,
but it's not really a mansion
milkers?
as much as it's just that's
Village.
Yeah, no, the 7th is the like redneck
Hazard.
Murder hobos in the woods.
Exactly.
Which I think I own. I think I own that one through PS Plus or something.
Yeah,
I'm never gonna play it though. I'm never gonna play any of these games. Too scary. No, thank you.
But they all it's particularly the initial 4 or 5 all revolve around the Umbrella Corporation having some sort of bioweapon get released in some manner, more or less.
Because it does have because it is called, so it's Resident Evil or it's called Biohazard in Japan.
Yeah.
That is what it's called. Because these.
I did not know that. That's a better name.
These are Capcom games. Yeah, it's like what exactly does Resident Evil speak to? I don't
know. That's why I had like this kind of like different.
It's the view of it. No, it's the theme of like the giant corporation doing bad shit that causes some sort of like mass hysteria or zombification, and you're either trying to shut it down and you're part of the organization, and as you do it, you figure out they're bad or that this was on purpose.
Really?
Yeah.
You're telling me now for the first time.
Just now. But yeah, I mean, that's part of what I like about the games is they always have this theme of like giant corporation equals bad, which think we find pretty relatable here.
That can't be true at all because Phil Spencer is my friend. He told me that Game Pass is for the gamers. He has an Xbox account, guys. He's a gamer.
You can see his gamer score.
Last year, his most played game was Elden Ring.
Just like
Fake.
me.
I guess, I mean, whom amongst us?
The joke that I've seen there is more like if you look at
It's
like
not.
last
It's not.
2 years,
It's not. They're not actual Xbox games.
like his most played game in the last 2 years is still Elden Ring. Like Starfield doesn't touch it.
If he did what? How many playthroughs? 15? Is that what he said? I'm on my 15th.
Starfield.
Yeah, I'm on my 15th playthrough right now.
Well, that's the thing with the Starfield playthrough is that like you can do it in like 10 hours or something like that. Like you can finish an entire story in.
Yeah, let's not make this a Starfield hate episode.
Let the hate flow through.
You know, but this the game series, created by the legendary Shinji Mikami, who has himself now freed from the yoke of Microsoft.
Okay, so he's not the one who went to prison for insider trading.
No, that's Square. That was the Square guy.
No, it was Sega. It was the Sega guy.
Oh, it was Sega. Oh, yeah, right. It's the Sonic guy. That's right. It was the Sonic creator.
Yeah, Sonic.
Yeah,
that's right. I thought it was a Square guy for a second.
No,
Like,
it was-
no. It was the
like
the Sonic creator.
This is where my hate truly flows.
Yes, no. Shinji Mikami, like working for Capcom, made the original Resident Evils. But then he was the head of Tango.
Yes,
Tango
that's
Gamer.
right. He went to Tango. That's where.
And did the Evil Within games and
Ghostwire Tokyo.
yeah, and just left after
The
Hi-Fi Rush.
purchase.
No, he was still working through the purchase. So, like he oversaw the.
He's gone now.
He's gone now. I recently seen something where he says that he will be returning, but he's got to wait till his non-compete clause.
Him and
finishes.
Kamiya from Platinum can hang out and make YouTube videos together.
Just vibe. But I found this a very enjoyable flick. We kept comparing it to Doom, and it's just like the overall plot is almost exactly the same.
Really similar.
It's more forgivable because it's older.
It is.
But I found it to be more entertaining.
Yes.
I know what to expect. Like, again, I don't like and would never choose to watch like horror movies on my own, but like a movie of this era, when the jump scares are coming.
Mm-hmm.
A movie in this era, I almost view it more as a comedy than a horror movie.
Right.
You took the words out of my mouth. Like I was chuckling through a lot of it because it was just so badly put together.
I don't know if I would call it campy.
Yeah, for sure.
It's campy. It's I don't
Like
even
the right amount of silly.
Yeah, it's almost like just a darker action flick. Like
Yeah.
I don't know that it even like it is a horror film, but for me they're not going for scares so much as they're just going for like fun, campy gore.
Yeah, and like the action.
The most that they're
like
doing are the jump scares, which for me, I don't like, mostly because of the aggressive sound design. That's like their formula for a jump scare. It's just like it's really, really quiet, and then just like huge spike in the score.
Yeah, because it sucks on the modern speakers that were, or like the streaming platform. It's just all fucking. You're blowing your eardrums out when it has that
nails on a
change
fucking
sound.
chalkboard.
Yeah.
I do want to caveat the score was done by Marilyn Manson, and as a podcast, we do not endorse. So don't cancel us.
Yeah, he's what, a serial abuser? Is that what his deal is?
Yeah.
Alleged, maybe. I don't know.
Allegedly, but yeah.
Yeah, that's no good. Plus, he killed my boy Juice in Sons of Anarchy
Yes, that's right.
after raping his mouth
Forgot it.
repeatedly.
Oh God.
But yeah,
Talk about a sick man, Kurt Sutter. Jesus Christ.
I forgot about that, and you just like memory unlocked something.
all right. So final thoughts about the film, and then we'll do our review scores. It's it's a bit of a tough one because none of the three of us outside of Andrew have actually played one of these games, so our adaptation score is going to be a little loose here. Take it with a heavy grain of salt.
I will say about this movie, this is definitely one that would have been more fun if we were able to watch together.
Sure.
Some of them, like Monster Hunter, nah, because that one we were just trying to get through.
Right.
Like that kind of would have
If
been
you were watching
miserable
Monster Hunter
together.
as a group, there would be a group ritualistic suicide performance.
Yeah, but this one's fun, campy, like all the things that we described. Like it would make a fun, joking around, shooting the shit, making fun of it while we're watching.
I thought it was a good October Saturday night movie.
Yeah,
I watched.
It falls in just spooky enough that I can say it's seasonal.
Yeah, so yeah, I had a very seasonal viewing of it myself. So I had time to myself on Thursday because I didn't have a game to play while I was waiting for Spiderman. So it kind of worked out perfectly. But I had a bowl of maple popcorn and some Cold Hollow apple cider as my movie viewing snack. It was most enjoyable.
Yeah, this is a fun one. I like this movie. I thought, I think there could be some better development of like Umbrella Corp. Like I would have loved to just get like one or two boardroom scenes, just like really hammering home their
you could still even keep it faceless,
all.
Right? I like the fact that it is kind of faceless. That Umbrella Corporation is this really kind of malevolent, ominous, nondescript.
You get enough of it from the fact that they have an AI who's willing to go to the routes that it is to prevent like breach.
Yes,
that's one of the perfect faceless corporate ways to handle that is you never see a person actually pulling the trigger.
That's fair. That's not a bad viewing of it, especially because they did program her to just kill all of their employees in this situation.
Imagine being the programmer setting up that that part of the
at the slightest security risk, just kill them all. Just delete, delete. Control Alt Delete.
Like we can't just cordon them off in quarantine and then bring them out. Nope. Okay, flood the sealed room. Decapitate with the elevator. That's a really unique.
Yeah, it's like nuance. You must program that possibility in. You never know. You never know. It could happen. You'll be really kicking yourself if that situation does come and you didn't program it. You'd be like,
so
darn.
If else if statements.
Yeah.
So many.
What do you think she was programmed in? What programming language? What is the most sinister? What's the most sinister and evil programming languages?
I mean, base C.
Well, I like the route you were going, Matt, of based on the age of the movie, but then you got to put it back another 30 years because if it's government programming systems, they're on, they're way behind.
I mean, no, they had hologram. They had hologram text.
They're either way behind or way ahead. They're using
they're simultaneously both.
Yeah,
at the same time.
Yeah, they're using
they're running complex hologram displays off of Windows 1.
off of a wire tape mainframe.
Yeah.
It's
No,
it's a room-sized computer equivalent to that of like a small classroom.
Yeah.
But still capable of like,
It has the
quantum
complex computing
computing.
ability of a TI-84 calculator.
It still has the capability to commit mass genocide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I mean,
Yeah.
you call it genocide, but I don't see anyone dead. They're still moving.
I found it an enjoyable afternoon at the movies, which is saying a lot for me for anything in this remote kind of genre. I do love, cheesy, corny action flicks, so I like
We've
that.
been dancing around the numbers though.
Oh yeah, but that's for the end. But I liked what I wanted to like make note of was the interesting political trajectory that we have here for Paul W.S. Anderson, going from what we reviewed of his work last month for doing just overt
Yes. Oh my God, you're
Pentagon
right.
propaganda, from this one of his earlier works of being just explicitly anti-corporate and anti-capitalist and anti-authoritarian and
Yeah.
still kind of a liberal at its core, because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like
For sure.
we're relying on our hero is a whistleblower, is
Yeah.
working within
single
the
man.
single figure working within the system type of thing. That's pretty counter-revolutionary, but it's still interesting to see that trajectory of liberalism.
Oh God. I hadn't
Time.
considered that.
No, and it's perfect for like, a movie conceived of and, shot pre 9/11, and then,
That
20
is
years later
a significant paradigm shift,
Yep,
like
for sure. No, without a doubt, especially within liberalism. And
his
back to
mind
that,
his mind got warped by there.
oh,
He became a troop
for
enjoyer
for sure.
after that.
Especially in 2002. Ooh,
Oh boy, yeah.
ooh, baby.
Okay, so now let's get to review scores. Who wants to go first?
I think Andrew's got to set the bar
All
just
right.
because.
Yeah, I'll go first. I'll go first. My movie score, I'm giving this a nice little 7. I thought this was good. I enjoyed it. I it's a fun flick for what it is. Adaptation, I'm going lower. I'm just gonna do a 5. They hit enough that this is adjacent to the games, but it's not truly an adaptation of them, and it's more of just using the general IP as opposed to like really adapting.
Can I go next? I'm gonna, because I want to jump off that point. I think I'm gonna give the movie slightly higher at a 7.5, because I did enjoy it and was surprised by how much I enjoyed it, and like the corny action flick nature of it being so much more prominent was a highlight for me. But for the reason that you lower that on the adaptation curve, I give it a higher score for that.
Fair enough.
Is like, doesn't feel super beholden to, it's got just enough references. It's uses certain inflection points from the games, from what I can tell from an outsider's perspective. But it doesn't feel like to me that they're doing the point at the screen, you little fucking seals, clap, clap, clap. You see the thing that you like, it's
distinctly anti-Uncharted.
Yeah, it's in the it's
fair.
enough grounded in the world, particularly with a series that's expansive as Resident Evil is, that like it's kind of telling its own story using that inspiration. And I think it did it successfully. There are plenty of adaptations and ones that we've covered in the past that do something similar, but just do it very badly. So like, I think it's bold. It can be a bold choice to move in this direction, and I think it pays off here. So I give it an adaptation score of 7.
I'll jump off of you on that one, in the sense that I agree with you on the movie score of a 7.5. I think I view this movie with a modern eye through a historic lens of that like 2001 era. And like it still holds up in an enjoyment factor compared to a lot of movies from that time, which just don't, like the Tomb Raider movies, I'm pretty sure I put a lot lower. and I did not enjoy nearly as much.
Which you were the outlier there.
I loathed.
I love those movies. Always will.
And then again with the adaptation, so the thing that this movie does so well is that it takes the themes and ideas and then plays with them. So you still have like, it's an indirect point at the screen moment of like, oh, the Nemesis program, or the zombie dogs, which I'm sure you kill in every Resident Evil game from what I've seen. And little bits and pieces like that, and it still has some of the motifs of like the fixed camera shots in the corner of the room, showing you that old perspective from the original
game. Yes, the fixed camera up above, almost
and a lot of like video game ass like layout and design, like video game ass hallways with elevators and like this weird ass fucking vertical hive building underground. It is not efficient whatsoever.
And like the way that they kept showing the hive structure, that's you pulling up your map. That's you pulling up your game map. Where am I?
All right. I'm gonna bump a point. I'm gonna go to a 6. I do agree with both of you. 5 was too low.
Yes, because on one hand, it could be a direct 1-for-1 for the games, and you could try to go for that. But at the time period,
that's always going to
video game movies were having were struggling, trying to find that like that thing that made them stand out. And this is one of the few back then that kind of was able to. I mean, it clearly spawned fucking 27 sequels.
Yeah, it had the fan response, right? Critics hated it, but all critics fucking suck, in my opinion. And except for the late great Roger Ebert, even though he put it on like his like worst movie list. The God King, though, James Cameron refers to this as one of his guilty pleasures.
Oh, I love it.
As if I needed more reasons.
Further cementing his status in our minds. So Matt, I don't know that you gave an actual.
Nope, I was about to wrap back to that.
All right.
So I'm gonna put it at a 7.5 for the movie, and then for an adaptation, it's going to fall at a 7.5 as well. Nice. 7.5 even.
Nice. All right, Mike, take us home.
All right, my turn.
Yes.
So I completely agree about the adaptation. That I almost appreciate more playing with the themes and the making the IP your own story, just living in that world. I think it's kind of interesting seeing last month's Monster Hunter compared to this month's Resident Evil, because I think that's two movies that in a way kind of followed that same pattern of using the themes, using the IP. One successfully Resident Evil, the other not so successfully Monster Hunter. And there's many reasons why that, why one was successful versus the other. But I think it definitely is more enjoyable for me, especially someone who hasn't played the games. But even for games that I'm very familiar with, I enjoy seeing someone else's story, someone else breathing life into IP, that it's not just cutting the cutscenes from the video game.
I've already watched that story. I've already experienced that story, and probably
in a better
in a better way. I don't need it done in a shitty way, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. So
show me you respect the material,
and you understand the material, and have lived with it. And from the beginning, when we were talking about the production and the different script writers and ultimately Paul, having played the games and being familiar with them. And so it's almost like, I think of one of the best storytellers within a set IP is Dave Filoni with the Star Wars, like the Clone Wars and the series that he's done. Say what you will about some of the live actions, but I think like
Ahsoka's pretty dog water, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, sure, but and I know that's going through a lot
which
of
upsets me because she's like my favorite character.
same. But that's going through a lot of corporate rigmarole to, Disney.
This is Ben's
making...
The Last of Us 2 moment.
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
watching.
So like, I enjoy people that could sit with an IP that they love, that they're invested in, and and create something new that is fun and tells a story, is enjoyable, entertaining. And I think this movie did that. In that it is like this campy early 2000s action horror, with a splotch of campy comedy. So I'm gonna give for a movie a 7, and adaptation I'm struggling, but I'll give it a 7. I was between 6.5 and 7 just because I don't know the IP that well, but I'll go 7 because I did appreciate that it wasn't an experience or a story that I could go to a video game and get a better a better experience out of.
Okay, so with that mark, let me do some quick little calculations. We've got for a average movie score, we have a 7.25, which I think
It's an appropriate score.
I think that's fair. I definitely think that's fair. So that just leaves us with adaptation, bringing us to 6.875, 6.9 rounded up.
Hell yeah.
That also seems fair.
Nice.
Yeah, just because it's nice, it's extra nice. But I think that's fair. All in all, I enjoyed this more than I thought I would. I thought I was gonna, the little bitch that I am, I thought I was gonna, have to watch through my fingers. Didn't have to do that. It was, it was just enjoy. It was a good time and fitting for the season. So I'm glad that we watched it. This may sit at the higher end of our review list.
The next year we can do Resident Evil 2, and then the year after Resident Evil 3.
Maybe. That may be the pattern.
And eventually we'll get to Resident Evil 12.
I don't know that we have something lined up for next month. I don't remember. We may not. So you may have to stay tuned to learn what we will be doing next for our adaptation in November. But that, I think, is going to do it for us for today's episode. Be sure to check us out on Twitch at twitch.tv/campaign comrades, where we've largely during group stuff and probably is going to stay this way till we see him through the finish line. We are accompanying Mike on his journey to Elden Lordship.
Elden Quest.
Hell yeah.
That's probably just what we'll be doing this coming week. And I know Andrew will probably be playing Spider-Man or maybe Armored Core on his stream. I don't know if I'm gonna I may finish before before next Thursday. I don't know. I really don't know what I'll be doing, or next Friday. What I will be playing. But be sure to come check us out. Give us some support there. We'd love to see you join in the conversation. And stay tuned next week for our news roundup for the month of October. It's truly been a spooky month. The deal of deals went through. The industry is due for some horrifying times coming up, so we'll see how things are going to shake out. I'm sure we will be talking about that next week. And thank you for listening. We will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.